Playday. This could be huge. Manages to find them.
Well, officially we have hit the halfway point in the season. We're halfway through Playday 4, and now we get to see LFO take on Elevate. But before we jump into that one, Dev, Order have finally won. They finally won the game, but it's in OT that we're specifically looking at. The big moments when we need teams to come up in clutch. That's only 1 of 4 in the past 4 games that they've been able to convert.
They broke that curse finally. A lot of confident words from Nate. He reckons they can double down that victory over Knights when it comes to Apex South as well. So great to see Order in form, even without Specker. So exciting times for them.
And one very quick thing we're going to do before we move into it, we're going to talk about Snap Fitness, because of course they are coming on as a sponsor for OCN, a great sponsor at that. Go get your gains. Go get your Jack Daddy bulk on. He's definitely been bulking up as of recent, and I'm sure he can attest to Snap Fitness. It's 4 weeks. Every week is only $4. That is absolutely absurd. So make sure you go over and check it out. Be able to get cheeky little bit of muscle like Dev Marta is trying to at the moment. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Definitely got some work to do there. Fortunately, the way that the image is cropped, you don't actually get to see anything, which is exactly the way I like it.
Prod, quickly. Zoom out. Zoom out. Please. Let him see. Hit him with it. Hit him with it. No. That's great. Poor Dev Marta. That's okay. Let's move on to the actual matchup that is at hand. LFO and Elevate, Dev. This one right now is a very interesting matchup. Now, I hate it when commentators use interesting. I use it all the time because it's a nice little crutch. The reason why it's interesting, here we go, I'm actually going to give you a reason for the first time ever, is because LFO actually knocked Elevate out of the playoffs at the end of OCN last year. And not only that, it feels like every time LFO come up against Elevate, they manage to just pull the win out. They're kryptonite, if you will. And, I mean, for a good reason. They have some really solid players on their team. Now, one thing that's going to stand out like a sore thumb is Nasty is not here for this matchup. Wet is going to be coming in as a sub.
That's it, and LFO certainly need Wet to step up because they are yet to find a single point in OCN so far. Not even a win, but just a point at all. They haven't even seen an overtime yet. LFO are convincingly the bottom team in OCN for now. But as you alluded to, there is one team that LFO seems to always have their number. There's one team that hasn't copped a loss yet in the OCN, but there is a chance that tonight might be the opportunity to break that, and that is Elevate.
That's it. Elevate are the ones that we're crowning at the moment to be potential OCN victors when it does come to the end of it. Because, I mean, when you look at the names like Digital and some of these players, it really does go to show why Elevate are, I would say, stepping their game up. They're starting to look a lot sharper in this year, where we're seeing the old form from a, God, dare I say, an oddity day for those that were around back then. But definitely, you know, the bulk of this team with the additions that they've had, just looking so damn sharp.
For sure, this roster here is looking to be the #1 team in OCN. It's not Order, it's not the Knights, it's not even Wildcard. It is Elevate, who are currently undefeated in OCN so far. They've taken down the Knights, they've taken Bliss, and they've taken Rufflecopter. Next up for the chopping block is LFO, but Elevate are looking to close them down as well. Now, the problem here for Elevate is that while they are on a great streak here in OCN, LFO are consistently the kryptonite to Elevate Superman. And if you look back in history, right, like you'd already mentioned, OCN last season, Elevate came in 3rd place from the regular season. They were looking fantastic. They go into playoffs and they lose to LFO, who were below them on the regular season standings. Elevate had an absolute terrible game in the playoffs. They were knocked out. And even if you go further back than that into the regular season, LFO beat them anyway. So in terms of overall skill, we could totally see Elevate as up here, LFO is down here. And then when you look at the head-to-head, it completely turns on its head.
Well, there's one way to find out whether it's going to continue to stay in that fashion. That's for us to get into the matchup. Let's have a look at the map, the veto, the Oregon, or as I like to call it, the Ocean.
That was terrible.
That was utterly incredible, you meant to say. But
sure.
On a more serious note, I am really intrigued. Is LFO going to continue this trend? Elevate are looking like the best team in OCN at the moment from their results and also the way that they're able to back it up. But they have to show it here. They have to show it against their own Kryptonite.
And for LFO, they've banned this every game so far in the OCN. And for Elevate, we've seen them play it twice so far this season. Once against Bliss, which was a very close 8-6. And once in the Apex South League against 7th Heaven, which was also a very close 8-6. So Elevate, you got your work cut out for you. LFO are coming into this. You have no info on them. LFO, I just melded their two team names together. LFO definitely have the element of surprise here. And the thing is, if you're Elevate going into this, I was having a chat to Digital before the match. He says they always thought that they lost to LFO in the past because the previous losses were creeping into their head and playing an impact into their mental state. They lacked the confidence in themselves that they needed, and that's exactly the ingredient that they need to take down LFO and remain flawless here in OCN.
Well, a flawless team versus a team that does not even have a single point on the board yet. Elevate looking to continue their streak while LFO are looking to squash theirs.
Oregon is where we meet. LFO coming into this, haven't played this in quite some time, but it is a rematch of OCN in the quarterfinal last season. LFO beat 7-5 against Elevate. Up in the Maverick ban to start off with, though. It's not what they usually have most recently banned on this map, but it is a good ban. Ooh, okay. Okay, this is spicy. If you're going to see a Maverick ban and you Elevate and you're like, yeah, let's double down with the Thatcher ban, that is very uncommon. Usually you only see one of those, but it really changes the way that this map has been played. We've seen it once, I believe it was in South League that we saw both of these bans come through, but it means wall denial has just become so very potent. If the Cade ban comes through, yeah, indeed it does from LFO, wow, there's a little bit less to worry about. Main thing you would be concerned of is the meeting room hatch. If you put a Cade in a specific spot, then there is no way you can destroy it with Kali. You have to bring like a Twitch or something and then roll the dice and hope that works. So getting the Cade off the cards is nice, and teams will have to look at other ways of clearing or other ways of defending the walls, mute or bandit, likely to see some play, and then of course countering that. I'm surprised not to see a mute or a bandit here, because I feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity here to defend your mirror windows with Thatcher and Maverick gone. Here we go. Malusi picked out. Well, okay, so strange that you wouldn't stick the mirror as well. I don't know. There's all kind of ways this could go. I'm not saying one thing is right or wrong, but definitely, I'm keen for LFO to prove there's validity to what their decisions are here.
Well, look, devil's advocate, I guess you bring the Wamai, you bring the Malusi, and you also bring the Jaeger. We'll talk about that in a second. Snap, the Snap Fitness community vote, 78% of you believe it's Elevate. I think that is most definitely a fair assumption. I'm surprised it's not more at this point. If you want to have a say, jump across to R6 Esports OCE on Twitter to join in the conversation. We'd love to have you. It'd be great to have even more. So, okay, I'm very quickly just going to talk about this. I do foresee the reason why they haven't brought, some kind of wall denial is because they have all of those projectile squashing. I can't even think of the word right now. That's
projectile denial, yeah, like your
projectile denial. My mind is completely cooked right now after that 2-hour match. But the Aruni gates obviously just make sure that you're going to have to waste either drones, flashes, smokes, nades. Like, there's just so much here that will allow them to stay in this power position at the elbow and also the smoke, you know, just buying them so much more time. Maybe they're just going to give up these hatches and look to play elsewhere.
Yeah, that hatch is free for Elevate to open. Like you say, it's going to come down to the projectile denial. Jaeger, Wamai, and Malusi all together. It's a lot of utility to protect those 3 shields that we see. 2 from Jigsaw, 1 from Sushi. Elevate do have quite a lot of throwables to burn through all that, but it's just a matter of getting the job done right. And with Elevate not having to worry about hatch denial or anything, it does make it a little bit easier.
Hey!
Mind your language there, Hibana.
This is a PG stream. What are you doing out here? So, now they will have those hatches open that they need. I believe Freezer... Okay, so they've left Freezer for now, but they do have, of course, Lobby and Meeting. You can see Hills now backing away.
What is that?
Reinforcing. the pillar
Ah.
wall. Very, very late. Oh, okay. Nice and early here from Elevate. I'm really liking the pacing here.
Nice and early, and using that smoke to cover that Selma on the wall to Boiler. Thank you, Marshall. Showing that Elevate have now flushed out that position at Bricks. Elevate droning up. Still 2 Aruni Surya Gates defending blue, as well as Sushi in elbow. And burning that ADS with the Selma. Pushing on through is Fisho. Elevate have a great position here, and Hills has been taken down and out by Worthy. 45 seconds to go. And my goodness, Elevate are getting close, but there's the first frag for Wettables.
That's the first kill on the board, and as far as I know, the first kill he's ever had in Tier 1. And Sogs now adding salt to the wounds for Vast. It has remained unreinforced at elbow, so they don't even need to worry about using any kind of hard breach. Look at this plant going down early. Digital holding the line, pulls out the secondary. The plant comes in, but it's all too late. Elevate. Well, they get brushed aside. What a first round from LFO.
What a first round from Wettables as well. Filling in for Nasty here. I believe he's almost, you know, fresh out of ranked, really. I know I've certainly lost a lot of elo to him. But he's not so much a player that I've seen in a lot of comp games before. Look, I'm not gonna, don't quote me on this. I haven't seen him a lot in the, you know, tier 2, tier 3 scene. And to my understanding, he doesn't have much comp experience, and he's come through and, you know, holding his own. A lot of players would get in here and be a bit intimidated. You know, you're going up against players like God Legion and Worthy who have such a storied past, and then still comfortably getting 2 kills and happy to bring that confidence into the 1v1s. And massive credit to him for doing so, and massive credit to LFO for kicking us off with a round win.
I wish we had a little bit more to go off for Wettables or Wed. Seems to be the nickname reference, but unfortunately I really didn't find out until about 3 o'clock today that that was going to be happening. So should LFO win, I'd love to hear a little bit more about him and what the theory is coming into this, because presumably from last night to tonight, that's the only change for LFO, and it is a big change. Swapping out a player like Nasty for anyone is going to be a struggle, but let's just keep an eye on his progress throughout this matchup. I'd love to really just see them go Gadget, do your thing, see what you can get done.
Sog's enjoying this Aruni. I love the way that super punch can be used for vertical play and for making rotate holes. Always fun to not have to bring an extra shotgun there and just hit the Aruni instead. Also, little known fact there, Sog shooting all these windows is breaking the glass. For those who don't know, glass blocks audio 100%. If there's someone rappelling on that window, you will not hear a peep if the glass is intact. So that's why Sogs is making sure he's broken the glass on all the site windows so no one can rappel there without him hearing it.
Learning Siege with Dead Martyr, ladies and gentlemen. That's been 90% of my career, so welcome on board. And as for now, that's very early on there that Elevate have been able to dismiss the attic hold. I don't know whether they had any kind of wall denial. I mean, they don't have any kind of wall denial, so it was for free. But now, of course, they need to capitalize on it. You can see the Banshee in a very a deep position in attic, so it's going to be quite awkward unless they use, well, there you go, the explosive, which presumably was the grenade from Digital. And
Bomb located by attackers.
just slowly but surely, a minute 30 and Elevate have made some pretty good progress. But look at that bedroom control that Jigsaw just had.
Located a bomb.
It's looking quite dangerous now.
Still a 5v5. Elevate to work on this vertical game. Hills starts to feel the floor heat up beneath him. God Legion secures that kill. A nice start here for Elevate, but a fairly unusual attack thus far. Not emphasizing the Dorm's push from Master, not emphasizing Attic either. Really just looking to hold big window and kids window. A risky play, but it may well play off.
Well, Fisho just needs to be cautious. I believe Digital has moved on, so there could be a peek from Attic, but it doesn't look like that is the read or call just yet. And Fisho guy takes down Sogs. There you go. So Digital is just watching that line. A quick refrag, though, gives them an opportunity. And in comes a little bit of information. Perfect timing on Sushi on the smoke bait here. And what a swing on a Fisho guy. The C4's ripped, but put away for a second. White Stairs now being pushed down, and that may be it.
But Digital, it's back on the scoreboard. Is there a plan to go down? It's either that or they have to execute in the frag department. Jigsaw and Sushi hold on. And LFO have two back-to-back defenses shutting Elevate out.
To be honest, it just really didn't feel like they'd done enough on site to be able to warrant a late push like that. And we still had most of the shields up. They still had attic control up until the last gasp there where Digital's trying to make a move in. Light stairs, not a lot of pressure from double window because no one's in yet. LFO doing an incredible job of locking Elevate out of these rounds. The first round, 4 players remain on the defending side, and this time it's 3 players. So it's incredible signs, and it looks like history may be repeating itself.
It is on LFO now to make that full 3-round rotation. And while, yes, we could get a bit excited here for LFO, it could well take just a little bit of time to warm up into it. Keeping in mind they already did have 2 very close games in this season on Oregon. Notably the 7th Heaven match and their Bliss match, 8-6 victories. I'm going to have a look at that 7th Heaven game. See whether Elevate struggled on the attack or defense. In fact, they went 3-3 on each half. And they actually came out strong on their attacks there and won their first attack onto both the Laundry and the Dorm sites. So in that regard, LFO has actually stepped up quite well. I like these Aruni gates as well, trying to... So that gate right there is actually trying to be hard breach denial. You can't just go and put some X-Kairos on that reinforced wall without first clearing off the gate. I don't think it'll be a big deal though, because Hibana's on the table, and you can easily just put 2 Hibana pellets on each of those gates and burn them. And I think that's a worthwhile use of utility, only using 4 pellets to clear those 2 gates.
I really like the Aruni use from LFO at the moment. They've shown good ideas in their intent of doing so. God Legion with a nice line to deal with the Banshee early on. So util clear has already started at the 2-minute mark. Fast though, just needing to be cautious. Who was that by? Was that Hills being a menace up top there? I don't even know at this point, but regardless, we'll move forth in this because the current moment, Elevate are making a lot of constructions of their own.
X-Kairos do the trick to waste a couple of sets, but Wettables, his impact's now used. He has to fall back. Jigsaw goes in to replace, but his impact is too late. That line of sight has been opened. The Selma goes through,
Nice.
but now tricked by another impact. Still, Fisho has one Selma remaining, no breach on the site wall as of yet. And I see that the idea here is a game of attrition from LFO mixed in with some cheeky monkey business from Hills on the run out. He finds that first kill onto Vast.
Question for me as well will surround Worthy and how many of those ex-Kairos he has left. 14, so still plenty of rotates or just inner sight workings to be done. They haven't even looked to pinch into dining yet, but that's huge control from God Legion now, taking over Showers. Once again, I've got to say, some really great timing from Elevate, but LFO, they are holding their own in every round here.
Great pick there from Wettables. And Jigsaw as well. Looking to retake Showers, but God Legion coming around the corner for one. And Wettables, another kill, looking to clean house, but God Legion's got something to say about it in a 1v3 now. 20 seconds remaining. Surely those evil eyes on the site will feed information and deny any chance of God Legion to try and make this work. Caught in the crossfire, caught out in LFO. A full rotation, 3 bomb sites.
The damning thing here is the fact that that is 3 rounds straight. LFO have had, not only have they won, but they've also had 3 or more defenders left alive at the end of it. And you were saying, Dev, that at the start, that the big conversation with you and Digital was that, you know, like sometimes, you know, they get in their own heads and all of a sudden they're worried that LFO are that team that is a big kind of kryptonite for them. And would I dare say that it's creeping back in again? This is a tactical timeout for Elevate. Geez, who would have thought that? And hopefully looking to reset this momentum, the mentality that LFO are holding right now.
Tactical timeout will certainly help Elevate. We talked about this going in, you know, Elevate need to overcome the playstyle that they hate facing. LFO always seem to have their number. Digital, I had a good chat to him before the game, like I'd said earlier. He said that LFO's been a bogey team for Elevate, and they've struggled to wrap their heads around determining how to prepare themselves going into a game against them. It's a bit of a play style thing that factors into it. They can prep and talk about their tendencies, but Digital says if they play close and prevent them from opening rounds, tonight will be a breeze. That's verbatim. That's what he said. If we can prevent them from opening up rounds, tonight will be a breeze. Well, it certainly hasn't been so far.
No, it's been anything other than that. In all honesty, it's looked extremely uncomfortable.
10 seconds left.
And Dog's not happy with the placement there. Maybe going onto the hatch. Yep. No, actually just inside the E door. So that will at least stun Elevate in the later parts of the round, and hopefully they will have plenty of utility to use. Obviously, Fisho will have not only the 3 Salmons, but also, I would assume, 2 smokes to work with, plus a whole bunch more from pretty much anyone else they need. 3 flashes for Nomad, etc., etc. So Elevate a little bit more cautious this time, Dev.
Oh, perfect early pick. Rooney gone down, that Sogs. God Legion's been strong on these entries, but it hasn't always been enough. That opening pick, though, nice and early in the round, is a big deal. Previously, it was a late 5v5. We actually had confidence in Elevate. Oh, Hills, is he going to see the shot?
Wow.
That is so good. Fisho guys out of the server, and God Legion taken down to 25 HP. Even though Elevate have the man advantage after that, I would almost go so far as to say that LFO are in the advantage One of the hard breaches down and the smoke grenades as well.
Yeah.
This is really going to be pivotal for Elevate. How do they adapt to that loss of utility?
Well, that's a big thing, right? 5 projectiles plus that hard breach, like you've said, that is huge potential. That's just been absolutely wiped off the board. So far, we haven't really seen a hell of a lot from Elevate other than the 2 kills that God Legion's been able to confirm. So now they're going to look to start to open these hatches. This may be the look-in for them. This may be what they're going to need to use, because at the end of the day, Sushi has not been tested at all at elbow. I don't even know. There you go. The reinforcement comes in. So there you go, Dev.
Perhaps part of the reason there is the fact that they knew that they killed one of the hard breaches, so reinforcing that off would then force Elevate to use some hard breach to open a usable angle in that position. Wettables, strong performance in the fragging department so far, fulfilling the role on his team quite effectively. Digital bottom main stairs. It looks like Elevate abandoning any notion of going for a blue push. What a nice shot from Jigsaw. Worthy looking to get in nice and personal. That air jab shuts down Wettables. Worthy capitalizes another shot and then traded Digital at the end. He trades it back once again, and Elevate finally get themselves on the scoreboard.
That's a big round for them. Right on the back of their tactical timeout as well. You start to think about the mental game, and you start to talk about how much it plays an effect when you actually make the right call, and it seems to be the right thing to have done. God Legion with 2 early picks in the round really set Elevate up quite strong, regardless of the loss from Fisho Guy there. It's worked a little bit better.
From Worthy. Really good that Worthy was able to find both of those picks, and of course Digital the trade at the end. The thing about LFO is they're just so disruptive. They're always looking to find some kind of way to throw their opponent off course. Elevate aren't able to play their game, and it's about, in a way, Elevate focusing on just retaining their balance and not letting themselves be thrown off course by LFO. That's what we saw just then. It wasn't a stereotypical or normal execute by any means from Elevate. It was start to encroach upon the site and then punish anything LFO throws at you.
10 seconds to go.
Now, Elevate may have the momentum, but I wouldn't put it past LFO to bounce back straight away. And a similar hold from what we saw in the previous round. No ADSs in Trophy though, similar Aruni gates. So where are those ADSs? There we go, there's at least one in Attic. And the other 2 may still be in the pocket, unless we can see that little blue light shining up. There you go, so they're at the back of bunks.
The thing is, last time Hills died in this position from below, and those ADSs aren't going to protect him from the Ash charges through the floor. In fact, the Ash charge through the floor would likely destroy both of those ADSs. It looks like Jigsaw's roaming downstairs at the moment. Might even contest Worthy early. My God, surely this C4 run out might not work. It lands on top of the car. Worthy not falling victim to that. Jigsaw does shut down that drone. But now nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about, and that's both drones off the board for Worthy. So late round, he'll have really the only impact he can have is the ability to obviously open up those walls, which, I mean, now saying only sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it? But it does stop that intel gathering late round for him anyway, and puts the attention on him as an individual and his prowess to now make something work. So slowly but surely, Elevate making their way to a little bit more room, if you will. But look at LFO; they're all bunkered down, and there's so much utility that they need to clear. Banshees, Aruni gates, and it looks like they're doing a good job of it just now.
Cleared that Banshee. God Legion still has 2 breaching rounds left. Ever cautious of a flank, where he uses a flash to clear off that Aruni gate. Keep in mind, in 30 seconds, that gate will potentially be reactivated by LFO. Great drone there from Digital. Also wary of those flank watch drones as well. An ever underappreciated role is flank watch, but so pivotal. Now, in this particular case, LFO not looking to contest the flanks whatsoever. God Legion below, though, he might actually be able to do some work with these Ash charges and flush out some of these key positions. 15 seconds, though. Time's ticking away.
Yeah, they haven't made a lot of progress to the site, so they're going to have to go through the choke points here. Digital and God Legion find trade somehow in amongst the midst. They're going to have to do a lot more here. There's no time on the clock. It's done and dusted. LFO demanding round once again. Question marks being hit for LFO, for Elevate here, sorry. The timing is just really not in their favor.
It's funny, if you were watching a team like Xavier play, you could understand why their opponents would be thrown off by their incredibly unpredictable and uncharacteristic play style. Like, or rather, characteristic play style. It's not the case with Elevate or LFO. Like, Elevate do have LFO as this boogeyman for some reason, but it's not like LFO are reinventing the wheel or anything. That was just a 5-man site hold with some slightly unusual setup here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty damn stock standard. And Elevate still stored out. And I feel like if LFO had a different name, and if Elevate couldn't see who they were playing against, I feel like they would be winning this. But for some reason, they just can't deal with it.
You know what? I would love to see that as a tournament format. Just keep
Can't see their opponent's names.
all of the names unknown, and then just watch how teams adapt on the fly with no information. That would be great. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Well, I look forward to seeing you put it together, Rob.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Who knows? It's never out of the reach just yet. And you know, I just to reiterate what you were saying there, Dev. It doesn't look like LFO are changing anything dramatic. You know, they're sticking to a lot of what has found them the success. And although Elevate aren't being able to deal with it necessarily, it doesn't seem to be anything special. You know, it's still that extended hold in blue. It's the mirror window into freezer. I really do think it's just the name.
The only thing that's changed in terms of the basement defense compared to LFO's previous 2 defenses is, well, the mirror instead of the Aruni and the Malusi instead of the Goyo. So not so much leaning on those shields. In fact, wait, there's not even a shield in elbow, but they haven't completely reinforced off elbow. Just some barbed wire. Oh, it's the mirror, of course. I couldn't see it from that angle.
Wow.
So the mirror window to hold elbow makes sense. Pillar has a shield at it as well, the only shield that they've decided to bring to the table. Bit of a roam as well, a loose roam for now. LFO likely just looking for drones. Committing to the roam last time didn't work out great for them. Elevate had a good roam clear, and LFO ended up losing 2 players for 1.
A 2-for-1 special. And just like that, it will be all 3 hatches opened and plenty of room to move. Now, this is a must-win round for Elevate. There is absolutely no way they can come out of this in a 5-1 half and expect to claw this back on their defensive side. Sure, it's doable, but why on earth? Why on earth would you want to put that kind of pressure on yourself? That's the real question. Smoke comes out now. Minute left on that clock. Smoke babe's starting to go off. Last with a little bit of information. Drone now being sent in even deeper. That's a lot of intel that Elevate have been able to take. And with that mirror, with the gap underneath the mirror, it's unplayable. And oh, the swing vastly gets caught out. Fisho guy wasn't close enough to make the play. And the air jab's gone off. Of course, thanks to the magnet. Still tucked away in the corner here. It looks like it's going to have to be a multi-bait attention push. Nicely done from Fisher on the quick trade. One player still down in the smoke. An elevator crumbling here. Once again, it is all up to God Legion. A 1 versus 4. Nice shot to begin with, but he will not make it past the second hurdle. LFO, what a first half. It's 5-1 to close things out. This is unexpected, to say the very least. 5-1. Elevate. They are currently undefeated in Oceanic Nationals. And on the hurdle that you would expect them to clear with the most height, they are stumbling horrifically. Just to give you some context here as to what I'm talking about, we've currently seen Elevate go toe-to-toe with the Knights. They beat them 7-5 on Playday 1. They then backed it up against Bliss in an overtime victory 8-6. And of course, the Rafflecopter game last night that we could not forget, a 7-2 victory. To come into this and to see this kind of result is shocking, utterly shocking. And questions will definitely be asked unless they can get their stuff together and tighten this ship together for the rest of the team, led by the captain that is Digital. Really hoping now that they can kind of claw something, inch something back from this 5-1 half.
Certainly the worst position Elevate has found themselves in all season long. And the best LFO has. A single point all season. Now finally they've turned it around. Could this be a moment that spurs them forward? Ever more hungry.
Wow.
Great usage there of the util. Burn that magnet and straight away that Banshee as well. Kills could be a dangerous force on the Ying. So ready. But is Elevate ready? Now switching on to their defense. It's got to be massive.
Nushi, the bit of intel there as Fisho gets aggressive at elbow. This is an interesting start, to say the least. Spaghetti gone on top of the staircase. And now God Legion needs to be careful. No Banshee, no barbed wire. It will be a free movement down as Vast is going to be able to hold the outside of blue, but just needs to be careful with these peaks. A minute left, and LFO, they may have gotten rid of some utility, but they have not dealt with that player at pillar.
Nor with Fisho, as he stalls out his second gas subsiding. Goes on the long angle, likely looking to use the Candelas here. Digital lands that first opening kill. Sulks goes down. LFO looking pretty lost here. Hills wants to make this push in. Jigsaw's dropped the hatch though, but it's all fallen to pieces. God Legion goes huge, and Digital to close it out. Elevate. Weather the storm. And LFO have copped their first L in a while.
What seems like forever, Dev. It literally seems like forever since LFO had even lost a round. And I am speechless. I am speechless. Elevate are really feeling the pressure here against what is continuing to show as their kryptonite. I just don't know how, I think we've said kryptonite probably 6 times tonight, but I just don't know how else we can put it. It literally is just sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm baffled. And now they're going to have to try to throw a spanner in the works, and hence the meeting call here. I like this from Elevate, but of course it is risky. Obviously, they're either one, wanting to try to catch LFO unawares, or two, they definitely don't feel comfortable enough going straight to that Dorms defense.
It's hard to say which one of those it is, eh? I have a feeling Elevate is just thinking like, look guys, we've got to have a pretty significant streak here. We're going to have to head to our tertiary sites eventually and win it. Otherwise, this game is a lost cause. For Elevate to get the full 3 points here today, they're going to have to be flawless from here on out. 6 rounds in a row from 5-1 down. I just don't see that happening. That would be 2 successful defenses on 3 different bomb sites. There's almost no way that LFO walks away from this game without a point, but there's a chance. I don't see it happening.
No, I back you up in that. Surely there's no actual way they're going to be able to do that. It's a huge ask. A huge ask that Elevate are able to keep a completely flawless defensive half on a map like this. And just look, again, look how good LFO are when clearing things out. They hold back nothing. And they've already started to push that Attic player away, make them feel a little bit more antsy. There's still 2 players upstairs to fight with, plus the rotate down into meetings. So LFO are okay for now.
Dismantling these castle barricades. The Aruni gate breathes to life once again. Patience here from Jigsaw and patience from God Legion. It's the other Syria gate opened up for now. 30 seconds until it's ready again to be activated. Jigsaw is just waiting for this peak to come through, but at the moment, Elevate are playing patient. This is, of course, meeting as the objective. You'd think it was Dorms. No, it is not. Elevate have stacked utility up here, and Vast and God Legion to hold on. Once again, that Aruni gate cleared now using Jigsaw's Yana Gemini. Vast and God Legion sustaining a nice crossfire here too.
Not only is there only 4 drones left, but it doesn't feel like LFO have done enough to really warrant a round victory here. They do have a little bit of an opening toward meeting, but they're going to have to capitalize on it, which they cannot do. Hills, nice little buzz cut for you. Dining as well can be held by that vertical line. So this vertical control that Elevate have continued to establish is just going to cause LFO so many problems. And with 30 seconds left, they still don't have that control that I'm sure they would want. It's just not looking great.
Vast holding. Digital also holding. There's the kill coming through. 5v2 now for Elevate. Wedables jumps in upstairs and he trades with God Legion. And that is a 2nd round in a row for Elevate. Rob, at what point do we say perhaps the comeback is on the cards?
Well, knowing us, the second we say it, it stops. So the fact that you've even mentioned the word comeback, I'm going to go ahead and tap on wood. Because at the moment that Elevate are clawing each and every round, LFO will be getting really frustrated. That's 2 rounds in a row Elevate have shown utter dominance, only dropping 1 player on the defense. I was commending LFO for their efforts, but Elevate are saying anything you can do, I can do better. And here, watch me do it. So to Dorms we go, and at a tipping point, realistically, it's 1 more round. 5-4. And that comeback is well and truly on. You know, when you're looking 5-1, you think surely there's no way, there's no possible way But when a team can go the full sweep around every site, that's when the belief creeps in. And it's also when the doubt starts to seep through to the minds of the attacking side, which LFO need to be cautious of.
For LFO, Oregon is not a map they've played a lot of. In fact, not at all with the new roster. It was all the way back in the OCN playoffs when they played Elevate. That was the last time they played this map. It was a 7-5 victory to LFO, but also keep in mind, LFO and Elevate were different rosters back then. Like, Fisher guys in now for Hotshot. And we got Wettables and Jigsaw here as well, plus Sushi. Like, it's only 2 players from the old LFO playing right now. And since then, it's been a highly bad map. I wonder for LFO, in the preparation for this game, did they perhaps spend a lot of time, looking at Elevate's attacks and practicing their defense dry runs, but perhaps not as much time really refining their attacks? You need a lot of experience playing again and again to get your attacks down pat, especially I think for adding a player like Wettables with less comp experience. Having to be part of that well-oiled machine on an attack is incredibly challenging.
We'll see whether that is, a determining factor in it, because the first 2 rounds we've seen on Elevate's defense, LFO have looked like they're scrambling in the latter stages of the round. They're just throwing bodies, trying to find trades, trying to find 1v1s, but Elevate are just such a solid squad on this defense. It doesn't seem to be as much of a concern right now. Need to deal with that mute jam if they want to put any kind of pressure to Fisho Guy in Attic here. And I would say likewise, there you go on the games wall. It's a little off center, so it may catch LFO unawares. That's a stretch, but you never know.
It's pretty easy to clear off these mute jammers with your Ash, and that's exactly what Hills is doing. From down inside meeting, he gets rid of that. There comes Wettables with the X-Kairos, and I think that's actually all of his X-Kairos used, alongside all of his drones. So Wet is very much running out of utility. Yeah, all out of X-Kairos, all out of drones, just 2 stuns left. Throws them both out to try and support this grenade. It works, at least it goes through, but nice shot there from Jigsaw, 4v4, 44 seconds. Bit of a Shaiko moment there. But still, Elevate not too upset at the moment.
Oh, and Fisho Guy really loved that. Pulled right back from Attic the second the pressure started to come in. The flashes came over. He pulled off, and Jigsaw for a second here. In come the smokes now. There's no crouchable, thrownable hold there. Jigsaw for a 3-piece. How are these headshots coming in? They're unbelievable. Fisho Guy as well. Where is his positioning? Because Worthy has the C4 perfectly placed onto Sushi's foot. It's into a 2v2. It's only Wettables to try and hold the line from Attic. Jigsaw's wide open right now, and Worthy closes it out. Finds the 2-piece and secures Elevate's 3rd round in a row on defense.
And it looked like LFO had it. A magnificent 3-kill entry from Jigsaw. But Worthy was there and ready to make a statement. The bar stops only with him. The C4 to deny that initial plant. And then the 2K at the end of it. Impeccable performance. Fisho Guy holding on just long enough for Worthy to come through and sweep up the remaining players. We're here, Rob. We're here at 5-4. Elevate are so very close to cleaning up and completing the full reverse sweep.
I just saw it. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, Sogs. That is what I'm talking about. I love to see it. I love to see it. The Monty being picked for the basement attack. Now, how much that's going to impact anything, let's wait and see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm just happy we're getting to see the big chunky shield boy. And in all honesty, LFO are gonna need to change something, because Elevate absolutely tore them to pieces on this site the last time they tried to attack it. At the moment, there's not a single reinforcement on site. From what I could see, not a... Okay, so it is
okay,
only
here
an
we
E.
go.
There we go. E and pillar, meaning elbow's still wide open. And I do like the preference here from Elevate, leaving the right side of electric open to allow for that swing from pillar. It definitely makes things a little bit more uncomfortable for anyone trying to push blue, especially if you have someone like the Monty trying to support and maybe trying to peek off them. You're not really going to be able to deal with 3 different positions at once should they hold aggressively at pillar and elbow. So let's wait and see. Let's see what Elevate have in the pocket here.
On for the roam clear first up. LFO uncontested thus far. It looks like Elevate mostly on site. 1, 2, 3, 4 with just Worthy teasing out tier 1 roam in tower. Fisho also just making sure to punish anyone who doesn't drone. For example, Jigsaw. Fisho guy knows he's too important to die early, so he backs off after the first pump. Especially with that Monty. Fisho guys, the most important operator for Elevate. The only operator that will hard counter that Montaigne.
Well, right now wasting a fair bit of time. Minute 30 on the clock as now they're starting to put the freezer attention on. And this is good. This is much, much better. But like you said, Dev, it's really going to come down to where Fisho guy's playing from. This is excellent from Sogs, making so much room for the rest of LFO. But this is where things come to an impasse. You have that crossfire established from Laundry. It's going to be incredibly hard for Sogs to do anything here without the support from Laundry itself.
There's the gas forcing him back. A C4 to follow. That forces Sogs' shield back for just a moment. The HP damage whittling away. That's a massive impact there for Sogs. He goes to rotate, but Jigsaw, 14 kills to his name. Spots through the drone hole.
Oh, that's
Fisho guy, he's down. That's the gas as well, dying with him. And suddenly, LFO have the advantage. Sogs marching forward.
This could be absolutely massive right now. There's one C4 left in the pocket to try and deny any sort of plant that Sogs decides to go for. Waiting for the contact. That's Jigsaw. Here we go. This is what we needed to see from Elevate. Sogs is going to try to stick it. The C4 is still in hand for Digital, but I don't think he's going to get into a position to throw it. God Legion finds something, but it's not going to be enough. There is no way he wins this in a 1 versus 4.
He can get it through the drone hole. Have a taste of your own medicine, Jigsaw. But he doesn't get the kill. Going for the revive onto Vast. A teammate back up, rather Worthy, but God Legion goes down all on Worthy. C4 still there. That does a lot of damage, but not the kill he needed. 20 seconds in the 1v4. There's just no way he can make this happen. 12 seconds left, and it's impossible now for Worthy to clutch up. LFO take match points.
Really well done from LFO there. They push into Freezer with the Monty. Sogs pushes up aggressively, enough to take the advantage, enough to take the space away from Elevate. They then put all of their attention across there, ensuring that Sogs can't move. In the meantime, he's legged it across to Laundry to help support whoever was already holding the Laundry stairs. A free plant once they've pushed everyone back from the site, and unfortunately, Digital, or I'm not sure who it was that was on the mute, just was not in a position to get that C4 off in time. And now we have it. Match point for LFO. No matter what happens from here, LFO have secured a point in this season of OCN.
It had to happen at some point, right? I mean, these guys weren't even the bottom seed coming in this season, but they certainly look like the weakest team. And here against the strongest team, they're bringing a lot more than we expected. They're packing a massive punch, continuing to be the bogeyman, that kryptonite for Elevate, season after season. dashing Elevate's hopes and dreams. No Monty this round, 6 picking onto the Ash for Sogs. The Nomad is a thing we haven't seen before from Hills, trying to deny a little bit of that roam game, that flank game, and lock these defenders down. For Elevate, though,
5 seconds left before insertion.
also a bit of a diversion from their previous operator lineup. Vast, the main one, going for the Goyo instead of the Wamai, trying to bring more shields rather than more utility to protect the shields. And the other thing was that Malusi over for the Legion instead. Legion doesn't get a lot of play these days. But perhaps the idea is to try and stall out that Monty, which was teased out before 6 picked off of.
Well, I guess you can't risk it, especially after what LFO have achieved in that round. And the question is, have they tried to repair a mistake that is not going to really showcase at all now? Worthy over at Big Tower Stairs up in the 2nd tier, as the rest of the team is on site and happy to play. Nice and relaxed. There you go. So he's actually at the top. He's at the 3rd tier. Just chill banging. Waiting for a good sign. At which, still no lobby presence this early on. And in that, a lot of intel can be gained.
Jigsaw's been so good. 18 kills in 10
What?
rounds.
No way.
Always there to open it up for LFO. Jigsaw, once again, turning it up. So much info gathered as well. He sees that shield. He sees all the ADSs protecting it. God Legion needs to hold true. LFO have everything going for them right now. And over the top, the ADS is burned. Jigsaw destroys that shield. God Legion, fortunately, backing off early enough so that he didn't take any damage to the fire, but LFO in such a strong position now, but Fast steps up and takes down Sushi. That's the smokes off the cards, but Wedables gets in it as well. And God Legion just trying to duel Jigsaw, but he's so hot right now, and it's so hard to take him down.
Bomb located by attackers.
Just need to be able to support Digital at the same time here. He will be stuck between a rock and a hard place. It'll be Hills and Jigsaw if they don't show support, which it doesn't look like they're able to do. They're spread extremely thin right now, and that's just it. The rock completely knocks him out, and Hills is now on site. A 4 versus 2. Oh no, Dev, it's over. It's over. They're about to hand Elevate their first L of the season.
God Legion verse 3, Jigsaw the 20 bomb to close out the game, and the first victory for LFO comes in the form of taking down the #1 team in OCN.
Well, the curse continues for Elevate, and the buff that is Jigsaw has removed Elevate from the server. Unbelievable. Look at that.
A 4.0 KD across 11 rounds.
I can't remember the last time that I saw someone take 20 kills in OCN or in T1 OS. I cannot remember. It would have been a very long time ago. And that's the kind of impact you want from a player that's stepping into the roster for this year. What a performance.
Honestly amazing, and a great game to do it in as well, where LFO finally have some points on the board, and it's not just the 1 from an overtime loss, it's not just 2 from an overtime win, it's the full 3 stack points against Elevate, who have been in that #1 spot on the standings. We'll see by the end of tonight whether they still are. But this is a turning point for both of these teams. LFO, their first victory. Elevate, their first loss. It's certainly a massive moment for both of these teams, which could turn the tide of their season.
Certainly could. I mean, we were talking yesterday about Rafflecop to Elevate game and the fact that whoever took that game was, you know, really going to set themselves up for the first place finish. But after this, you know, this is where we've seen LFO crumble time and time again. This is 3 series in a row now that LFO have bested Elevate. It was OCN, OCN playoffs, and now OCN Stage 1 2021 is in the books. It's a curse. It's kryptonite. LFO just best them in every position that they get into. But I think one player that literally has done all the work there is 100% Jigsaw. I don't even know what else I can say. That is unbelievable. 20 kills and a 70% headshot ratio. What?
He certainly did a lot of work there on the Zephyr, on his attack. Really instrumental in opening up so many of those rounds. Massive multi-kill rounds as well for Jigsaw. And the patience he exhibited as well. He was holding with the 2x scope, long angles for such a long time, and just nailing those shots when the opportunity was presented to him. Holding things down for LFO and pushing when they needed him to. Fantastic from Jigsaw. That's really a showcase of what he can do. And of course, Wenables as well, his debut in second place on his team in terms of the kill count, 91% KOST. That's quite a stat. And on the Elevate side, still some very strong performances, but it clearly just was not enough. LFO had their number every step of the way.
Yeah, there were many rounds where it just, you know, we needed Fisho Guy to stand strong and got a little bit unfortunate. Vast there, 2 and 9. Obviously, KD doesn't tell the full story, but, you know, it is obviously a grim day for them because it kind of overshadows everything that they've achieved so far in OCN and the 3 play days that they've been in. Is this performance like the linchpin in what we now look back to as inconsistency?
It's hard to put your finger on exactly one thing. I don't know what to exactly describe this as, but there's no doubt that this is going to potentially have a ripple effect for Elevate and for LFO as well. You know, I think they've finally gotten some confidence that they can play it out here in OCN despite the significant roster shuffle and coming in and having a really poor first 3 games. But hey, this is their chance. They've finally gotten over that first hurdle and they've continued their excellent head-to-head score against Elevate. Yeah, time to just shoot up and not even just dodge out of those relegation spots, but there's still a significant chance they could make playoffs. It's top 5, remember? So there's still 4 games left, or 3 games left for them. Still chance.
Well, I'm sure they'll be fighting for playoffs, and we can actually hear it from Sogs himself. As you said before, Dev, hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm not calling you a horse, I promise. But let me get this. What are we thinking? Are we thinking playoffs now? That's a huge W to be taking as Elevate were undefeated.
Yeah, look, playoffs, it's not even that we're thinking playoffs now. Playoffs is always been on the cards. In fact, we went into the season obviously with high expectations, regardless of whatever roster changes and difficulties we had. But yeah, no, playoffs is never left the mind or the goal. So yeah, no, we're keep on keeping on, really.
Good stuff, dude. Yeah, I'm interested to hear a little bit from your side about the Elevate situation. Like, you historically have such a good matchup against them. You defeated them in the playoffs last season, knocked them out. You also beat them during the regular season, and coming into it today, I know Elevate, you know, they were a bit scared of you. What's the story behind that? Why is it you guys always have their number?
Well, I mean, you can look at any team. I think all teams have their bogey teams, and I was joking with Didge before the game, but you know, Elevate's just a team that, I mean, you go back to Six Masters, that's who we played our first ever Pro League or official game, whatever you want to call it, against them, and we took the, it was a 1-1 and Mims ace clutched the last round, so I think that just must have been a good omen, really, for all future games. But look, you'll have, like, you know, there's just historical teams that teams struggle against, so I guess we're the bogey team for Elevate, so we take the win, we'll take it.
Take the 3 points any which way they come. Now, let me ask you, things were looking a little bit dire there on the second half. Elevate were looking like they were going to claw that game back, and then the Monty pick came in. Is that something that you guys have had kind of sitting in the pocket, or was that a last-minute call?
It's more so with our play style. Like per se, we haven't really scrimmed and run a Monty and planted there before. But really, especially in the best of one formats, you've just got to be flexible and know
Yeah.
what type of one aggression you need to bring to teams, but two, what operators just can throw them off. And I think just the brute force Monty brings you to just push through the ground, because we're struggling with our couple attacks. We started losing just because we couldn't take the ground. Like we're entering,
Yeah.
but then we couldn't aggress. So the Monty, we just thought, whip it out, quick reverse plant. Jig was playing out of his mind, so that it helps him
Yeah.
just taking freezer and just killing everyone. So it's not something we practice, but it's something that we have the ability to just improvise, really.
Yeah, adapting on the fly. That's a scary thought. I'm not gonna lie, because you guys are some gamers out here, and when you're able to do things like that, you're gonna cause a lot of teams some discomfort. But anyway, we're gonna let you go. Congratulations on your first win of the season, mate. We look forward to seeing
Thank you,
you
boys.
against Order on Monday night.
Beautiful. Take care, lads. Peace out.
3 points on the board, their first win of the OCN season for 2021, and a well-needed and well-deserved victory at that, Dev.
Yeah, great stuff from LFO, and I love hearing that bit of insight into what happened with the Monty there. It goes to show, like he was saying, in a best of one, anything can happen. I just got a DM from Digital. I was talking to him before the game, sorry to interrupt. I was talking to him before the game, and I said good luck in your game, and he told me about how LFO's a bogey team. He just DM'd me and said, "Think we'll revisit that plan, eh?" But hey, credit to LFO. They did amazingly. I love that Monty backwards plan as a little bit of a, not necessarily a pocket strat, because it wasn't in the pocket before they brought it out. It was just brought to life out of thin air. So massive credit to LFO for thinking on their feet like that.
Yeah, it was quick adaptation, and now they've taken the 3 points. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our third matchup of the day. We have one more to go, and it's sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. After the break, it's Rhythm taking on Bliss. We'll see you in a bit.